Welcome to another day in the Matrix, Waters Above Crypto. I hope everyone who tuned into yesterday's live stream had a good time. It was great chatting with all the conscious beings that have gravitated towards this channel. Much love to all of you. Today we're going to be going over the Bitcoin and XRP charts to follow up on what's been going on over the past week and the importance of tomorrow's weekly close to start the new trading week. I anticipate this upcoming lunar eclipse on Wednesday to bring some chaos to the markets, so it's important to be prepared for. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with the esoteric science of Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. If you haven't already subscribed and you like what we're doing here, feel free to subscribe. Give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious people to help grow this community. And for those of you who want to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, you can join my mastermind course. There's a promo code in the pinned comment below with instructions to get lifetime access to the course with a discount. My email is in the description box to get in contact with me for access to the course. Also, later tonight, I'll be doing my weekly Red Pill episode. It's my technical analysis podcast that I do for the Patreon supporters of the Mastermind community. And I'll be going over my short-term strategy for this bull run as we move into the summertime and how we could prepare ourselves in case this market goes against us for a prolonged period of time. It's my goal to have everyone prepared for any scenario that comes our way, so I'll be focusing on this in this week's Red Pill episode. And also I'll be discussing mindset during a consolidation phase, some of the things that we can do to keep ourselves uplifted. And I'll also be going over some projects that Patreon supporters suggested, such as Tron, Loopring, Crypto.com coin, Theta, VeChain, and a couple others. So with that being said, let's take the red pill. First things first, I actually want to get into something that someone sent me. Shout out to Ian over on our mastermind community for sending me this chart right here. And basically what's going on here is this chart shows the eclipses as they have the solar eclipse moving into the lunar eclipse. And then over here in this cycle, it's lunar into solar. And then here it's reversed solar into lunar. And these are total eclipses, as you can see written right here. And they have about 160-day cycles. So this one was really interesting right here, this solar eclipse happening in August 21st, because this followed a bigger correction and then it actually led to a blow off top. And this lunar eclipse was around the time where you could tell that the bull run was over. So I think that this is a really cool chart. Right here on this section of dates, you have the lunar eclipse, which was like the absolute bear market bottom. And that led to the solar eclipse where we see it hit the top. So this is pretty cool stuff. It's something that perhaps was overlooked, but in my mastermind course about 2 weeks ago, I did do a decode on this upcoming lunar and solar eclipse. So, I was throwing out some caution that you never know what could happen, especially right now in unprecedented economic times. So it's really interesting to consider this current cycle, where we see on December 14th, 2020, there was a solar eclipse, and that happened around where the price of Bitcoin was sitting at like just around 19,000. And then recently, this eclipse that we're about to see in 4 days, which we haven't gotten the price of what that date will be yet, but it was sandwiched in between a high similarly to right back here. So I'm not saying that this is the end of the bull run, because there is something interesting going on here, which is that this lunar eclipse leads to a solar eclipse within a 15-day time span. Now that's really close. And from this upcoming lunar eclipse on May 26th leading into the December 4th solar eclipse, it's 192 days. So it's a little longer than usual. But if you look at this June 10th solar eclipse into this lunar eclipse, it's 160 days. So what I'm thinking is we might have a lot of chaos in between May 26th and June 10th, and then a restart of the cycle from May 10th leading into December. And as you guys know, in the 2013 cycle, Bitcoin hit the top leading into early December. It topped out around this string of dates, and then it had a double top around December 4th. So let's just look at that really quickly, and then I'll get to the chart that I wanted to look at. Let me hide everything to make it a little easier, because you guys have heard me say this a bunch of times, how I feel like this cycle is more like the 2013 cycle and less like the 2017 cycle. So this is the 2013 cycle, where basically we had a spring using Wyckoff. Then we came up into this parabolic uprise, had a really nasty correction, like 80% or so. Get this failed rejection of re-entering to create a higher high, and then you enter this prolonged bear phase, which has a spring within it as well. And you could see that that spring is about halfway through the cycle. It's very akin to this moment right here of the COVID crash. You have a top, you have a really deep, nasty selling climax, then you have what's called an automatic rally. This leads to a spring, which is the buy the blood in the streets moment that happens very, very quickly with a V-shaped recovery. Then you have your SOS, backup phase, parabolic top, and now what we're seeing is a last point of supply. We're trying to test this $30,000 to $40,000 area to see what's going to happen. And what we haven't seen yet is that nice, pulled up reaction to a harsh, nasty sell-off like we've seen back in 2017 at the end of a bull run. Right here, where the price got a nasty sell-off, then it had a lower high right here. In the end of the 2013 run, you could see nasty sell-off, rejection, lower high, and then it created a bear market. And here there was just like this mini bear market moment. So I've been thinking to myself, this current top that we just saw across the board, it ended around mid-April, just like the top that we've gotten recently. It ended around April 14th. So what we're seeing right now is a chart that's a little bit more similar to right back here. And this is important for all cryptos, because as you've seen, when Bitcoin had this nasty sell-off, it started to reverse in dominance. And do you notice how the altcoins are getting slayed right now? Like red pills across the board, man. So we haven't seen this reaction yet to the upside. And I anticipate that this is in the cards, but look at here. After this blow off, you have a really nasty candle like you saw on the May 19th, like about 4 days ago. We saw a huge pullback, and it had a nice buyback. But then you have this scary moment right here where you create a lower low and then a fake out. Now, this is what I'm anticipating is probably going to happen leading into next week. And it would be a very similar amount of days in between. So from this high till you see a new test of higher levels before a rejection and a prolonged bear phase was about 14 days. Let's see right here. I'll count from the double top area. That's a long time. So look at from like right here, from the first top over to here, it's about 12 days. So let's just give it between 12 and 14 days. We could be seeing that nice reaction. Let's go over here and try that again. So we're gonna go from the top, we're gonna move it over, looking about 3 weeks. That's a little longer than we were seeing. But again, remember, as Bitcoin matures and goes up in price, the time in the cycles of space in between becomes less and less. Let's see here, 2 weeks. So about 12 weeks, or 12 days, sorry. We'll just call it from this top right here to about, oh yeah, we're cutting it super close. So even 3 weeks out, we're looking about the end of May, like the monthly close. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating. I'm anticipating Bitcoin to move back up to that like 46, 47 range, get a lower high, and then probably reject it down from there, unless it just gets manipulated for that lower low like we saw before. And that's also something that we saw in this COVID crash. So you see we have this big death candle, then a low on the following day. Then it looks like things are promising, but then out of nowhere, boom, another big supply test to the downside, fake out, continuation to the upside. And I've given this scenario how this could be something that we're going to be anticipating. And I'll show you guys that in a moment with the fractal. But just to finish off on this really quickly, I'm interested right now in how these two eclipses will affect us. Because when it comes to technicals and structure, it seems as if these eclipses play a huge role, and they also are timed perfectly. Like this November to early December eclipse being the same time frame around the 2013 cycle where the cycle top happened. Let's look at where the all-time high occurred. So right here on December 4th, that cheeky all-time high double top thing going on. So you see from November 29th to December 4th, and that's where December 4th will be the solar eclipse, which right here, like in this cycle, ended the cycle with a blow-off, and then we had a prolonged bear phase. So I'm open-minded, guys. Like, I think that this could go either way, but I'm cautious. And I think the reason I'm cautious is because of the hiking yields and a lot of things that are going on in the economy. If we enter a hyperinflationary environment in a quick fall swoop to the upside, that will put a lot of pressure on the stock market. It'll put a lot of pressure on crypto. So it's something to take into consideration. Like, I know the moon boys out there don't want to hear that. And, you know, a couple of days ago when I made my last video, I made that comment about the XRP army, and a lot of people were getting butthurt about it. But we're seeing today this come to fruition. I told you, if we start seeing a sub $1 XRP, what are we seeing today? An 88-cent XRP, and it's one of the most damaged cryptos today. Why? Because most of XRP is being held by retail, okay? And it's not a scarce asset. So it's not illiquid, meaning when it's the weekend time, the institutions aren't around to help us out. So that means that retail, once it breaks $1, they start selling their bags. So don't get offended when I say something that doesn't apply to you. You know, don't be in a cult. Cults are not good. So if I say something and it goes against your belief system, that's emotion. You can't. There's no time for emotion in this market. You have to like pull yourself up by the bootstraps and understand that if you're heavily invested in XRP, the reason it does what it does the way that it does is because retail is holding the bag. And these really violent moves to the upside or the downside are from leverage. You know, there's very little volume right now for XRP to be sub $1, especially sub 90 cents, while Bitcoin is up. Okay? So just, you know, chill. That's the point of what I'm saying. I'm a huge XRP holder, so if I'm saying something, it's because I'm saying it out of caution to everyone. It's not because I'm on Team XRP or Team Bitcoin. I don't care about any of these cryptos like that. I haven't joined a cult. I'm doing technical analysis. I'm doing Gematria Numerology Astrology. I'm just here to provide data. That's all my job is. And red pills. And the truth hurts, but the truth sets you free. So let's move on to what is critical for the weekly close in Bitcoin and also XRP. And we'll jump around a little bit because I feel like that might be helpful for everyone. So first of all, we have this arc right here, the arc I was telling you guys about. Then this fractal right here is from the COVID crash. Basically, I took a bars pattern from right here around March 13th, the very bottom, and moved it all the way up to around this January high. Again, this is 100% speculation. This isn't what I'm not saying this will happen, but this is about what you could anticipate in regards to this being a huge fake out. So in the event that we actually create lower highs, but then we have some sort of a breakout out of this time frame, and I smushed it up a little bit to end around December because that's typically where Bitcoin likes to end. And I even moved the price down. This was around 300,000. I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to go to 100 to 200,000, by the way. I'm just taking a fractal and I'm having fun with it. So don't if it's October 2021 and the price isn't 50 or 70,000, don't say that waters above lied to you. This is a fractal. It's just for fun. So, but with that being said, this actually would make a lot of sense because of the technicals. If you look at especially MACD, MACD is in historically low territories, like historically. This is one of the sharpest moves to the downside we've ever seen in MACD. Again, this type of sell-off that happened was due to noticeable manipulation because of the supply that entered the market to push the price down to 30, and then the immediate supply that entered the market to push the price right back up to 42. That's insane. For that to happen in a single day, that's showing you that there was a coordinated event here by the whales to move the price where they needed to move it, and any news that you heard on that day was complete bullshit, and it was just to give retail reasons to give their bags to institutions. Period. Period. The end. Okay? And if you look up the holdings of most of these big companies, they're not holding XRP. They're holding Bitcoin, Ethereum. They're holding a shit ton of Litecoin. Like Grayscale has been increasing their Litecoin holdings substantially. And Theta, I think, is doing pretty well today, a little bit because of Gematria, but that's a side note. It's doing well today because of it got listed on Uphold, and then T Fuel just had something with Trust Wallet. So there's some things going on for Theta today that's helping out. And also, when a shit ton of liquidity leaves all the other majors, it has room to go. So of course, Bitcoin's really not doing anything today. You know, it's only up 2%, and then a lot of liquidity has been released from some of these plays such as XRP. And then I would assume even XLM is holding up pretty strong today for XRP doing not so good. So anyways, the technicals moving into the weekend before I end this video will be, let me hide drawings because that might get in our way. So first things first, a lot of YouTubers are out there saying that the 21 EMA needs to be recaptured before the end of this week. Well, guess what? I think that's impossible. I don't see Bitcoin miraculously going up 21% in the next day. So I'll leave that there. If you're somebody who's into technicals and you studied the previous bull run, you'll know that any closure below the 21 week was a sign of the end of a bull run. But let's look at the last end of a bull run and how this went. So we closed right here below the 21. Then we had a really shitty week the following week. And then look at this pullback we got with resistance on the week that we had the previous close below the 21. You can see if I leave a flat line, it's sitting around 11,700. So let's just look at the week that we had this big dump and then look at the top of the candle and we'll get an idea. So that'll be this week right here that we're on, and that shows me 46,400 is most likely the retest. And another sign of an end of a bull run is when the 21 can't be recaptured. So again, that could take so long for that to happen, but when you see the 21 downsloping on the weekly, that's a sign of problems. And I would say minimally, based off of my experience and how I look at charts, the 34 EMA, which is this red line, that needs to be recaptured, period. So closing above this $40,000 level, I think is really important for this whole cryptocurrency space as a whole. Then what I think needs to occur is by the monthly close, we need to recapture the 21 EMA. So I think this week we can get away with recapturing the 34 EMA with a candle body close above it. And then the following week we can get away, the next 2 weeks actually, we can get away with overcoming the 21 and still be in a healthy cycle. And the reason I feel that way is because that is what happened in the 2013 cycle. So look back here. You see right here on this candle, we closed well above the 21. We flash crashed down way below the 34. And then the following week, we just got right back in the game. And that was the reversal. You see how we closed the following week above the 21? Well, that's kind of like what I would anticipate to happen right now. We close above the 34. Then we have to recapture the 21 at least in the next couple weeks before this monthly close. And this 46,000, 47,000 level would also align with the monthly candle close being above the bottom of this March candle. So that will leave us with a better structure to see a $46,700 or $47,000 monthly close. Now, we have 9 more days to go, and Bitcoin moving up that much in 9 days is nothing. 22, 23% is so simple for Bitcoin. It does that all the time. And especially after being really oversold quickly, as you can see on the MACD, it's not impossible And it's also not impossible for all of these things I just said to not come to fruition, and Bitcoin can still go sideways and flat around the $30,000 level to $40,000 level for the next 200 days and still create a blow off top leading into the winter time. So, how does all this work out for XRP? Well, the one thing that I see is really healthy for XRP right now is it's holding support on the 21 EMA, this orange line. Again, EMA stands for exponential moving average. As long as it holds this 21, I think this is okay. But I don't like this candle body being so much below the candle bodies of mid-April. I don't like that. That's a technical structure that looks like an M pattern. And M patterns, if we were to just pull from the top right here, I'll be conservative and I won't include the wicks. I'll just include the candle bodies, and I move it right around. Shit, I mean, I don't even like to do this, guys, but like, I know we're on logarithmic. I apologize. Oh man, no, this isn't good. I'm not saying this to scare anyone. It's just 50 cents again. This shit needs to hold, man. Like, so I don't want to scare people, but like, this is it. You know, this is the technicals. From a perspective of Wyckoff, this looks like a spring, which usually has a V-shaped recovery, resistance into the 618, and then you have continuation. So let's just say this month needs to like start getting green ASAP. Okay? I was selling all my XRP initial investment back here around this $1.50, $1.60 level. I didn't take any profits on XRP, okay? I didn't take any profits on anything really, but I left all my initial positions around this time. And it was because I was worried that this market was overextended, overheated, and it was due for a correction. Again, we don't know what type of correction is to come. It could be a complete bear market. You never know. So I'm still sitting on the 80% bull market, 20% bear market sentiment because a lot of things can happen in short order. And I think right now it's safer to be in Bitcoin than it is to be in any other crypto. Because if this move comes, it's going to be bloody. And again, I'm not saying this to scare anyone. I'm just saying this because maybe your favorite YouTuber isn't telling you. And I know that hurts, but that's just the truth of the matter. When we see all these moving averages coiling up and crossing on the daily chart, that's a sign that this needs to be bought back soon. And retail is not helping because retail left the market on the 19th. The open interest on this market got flushed away, and that's why we're seeing a really, really intense pullback across the board with the altcoins. The altcoins are mostly held by retail, not by sophisticated smart money. So with that being said, I'll be doing my Red Pill episode later, again, covering some of the projects that the Patreon supporters suggested. We're getting really close to 9,000 subscribers on this channel, so thank you everyone for all of your support. Looking forward to 10,000 subs leading into June. It would be amazing to hit that goal considering this channel really started around March. We've had such amazing growth. I'm really grateful for everyone's support. So with that being said, enjoy the rest of your weekend in the Matrix. Much love.